This is TWiT.
A big breakthrough, I think, for streaming in the Oscars. This week's Oscar nominations gave Netflix Power of the Dog, streaming-only movie, 12 nominations. Remember Steven Spielberg a few years ago saying, streaming movies shouldn't even be considered for Academy Awards. Apple got 6 nominations, including a Best Picture nomination for Coda. This is. I think it is now clear, especially because of the pandemic, that streaming movies are movies. And there are quite a few, including, by the way, Don't Look Up, which we were talking about, nominated for a Best Picture. Yeah. And that was Netflix only as well.
Yeah. See, this is significant because the budget for Coda was $10 million, $10 million.
Wow.
And it's a good example of the sort of movies that people used to be a lot of actors and a lot of producers used to be complaining that we can't sell a movie that costs less than X hundreds of millions of dollars, because the market for movies in theaters right now is that by the time you add in marketing, by the time you add in distribution, it has to make a huge pile of money before it can recoup its funding back. And so a lower budget or a mid-tier budget movie, which is usually what you're talking about when you're talking about a straight-on drama where people are just going to go in there and act the hell out of the screenplay, that kind of aces all of them out. So it's not surprising at all that the streaming services that are largely entice creators with, look, if you're going to be making us a movie for $10, $20, $30 million, we will write you the check. You get to make the movie that you want. Here are some rules that we want you to follow, but we're not going to have someone on set every single moment advising you on what you should and shouldn't do. This is sort of like the gold rush almost in terms of awards and prestige for these smaller tier movies. So that might be the salvation for
I'd love that. Yeah.
Drama.
And let's bring back theaters eventually. And maybe they can benefit as well. The indie theaters and art cinemas.
Theater has to become a communal activity again.
I agree.
You have to watch a movie as an audience, not just for the big picture, not just for the great sound, but there's something about the cheering that happens even in an action movie where somebody picks up the weapon that from off screen and suddenly enters the battle, that you realize that this is why I paid $12 for, not the effects, but because be one of 200 people cheering like hell at a static image.
This is a weirdly American thing, because if you did that in the UK, you would be considered incredibly rude. And yet
really?
I went over to see.
And yet you guys all rise to your feet at the end of the movie to sing "God Save the Queen."
Oh, please. It's just... Well, that said, whenever I do hear the national anthem, I get the urge to stand. But yes, it's...
do they still do that at movie theaters? This is a long time ago when I was in the UK. I don't think they still do that. They used to play the national anthem at the end of a movie.
They used to play the national anthem every night when the TV shut down at midnight.
Yeah, we did that too. Yeah, we did that too.
Back when TVs did shut down.
TVs don't shut down anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah, I will say I hope theaters come back too.
Me too.
My favorite movie event was watching Galaxy Quest with an audience here in the Bay Area. And at the end of Galaxy Quest, every single fan stood up and applauded, including myself.
Oh,
so that is a moment. But
isn't that great?
Yes, it is a recognition that the streaming services and their investment in studio production, is countering the Hollywood, you have to have $100 million budget. And we want to see that. I mean, I think the day that we get an Oscar-nominated movie that was shot on an iPhone or on a Samsung phone is the day that we really sit down and go, what? Holy cow. But
do you think that day will come?
I do. I think movies are storytelling, right? And it's about compelling characters and stories. And I think I'm a big movie buff. Don't get me wrong. I will watch anything. Moonfall was $140 million.
Wow.
Largest budget for an independent movie ever raised. I liked Coda, which $10 million. But I think that it's the creativity of the work. And if you're relying on big budget special effects, that's a complaint of a lot of movies, right? The story was mad, but oh my God, they look at that explosion from 50 different angles. So it will allow you to experiment, and I do think that day is coming.
And you can use this in I'm So Obsessed if you want. I really think movies are the original VR, the VR that works. Yeah, you're not wearing a helmet, but you're in a darkened room with a bunch of other people. There's music to make your heart move. There's pictures on the screen that make you gasp. a good movie takes you away. It transports you into a different space. That's virtual reality.
It's 4D when they throw popcorn at you. So.